Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're watching Open Live. It's that interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. So you can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Don't worry about a thing. We've got you covered. Leading things off, our first guest is the CEO of Beyond the C-Suite. And she joins us today to speak about how her organization is helping Black women in executive positions carve out their own unique brands. Yes, so please welcome to the show, Deandra Coleman. Deandra, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Deandra, tell us, your story is one of comfort to tragedy to triumph. Can you give us an inside look of your journey through what you've come through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up on the North Shore of Long Island.
Uh-huh.
Very cushy upbringing. My parents worked hard and followed the straight and narrow path, went to college, got my undergraduate degree. And then in my late 20s, the rug was kind of pulled out from underneath me. I unexpectedly found myself unemployed. I was wrongfully terminated from a position, which
Mhm.
led me to live back with my parents, which led me to being bored. And then I ultimately found myself ultimately found myself pregnant at 27, and I was not anticipating that.
Yeah.
And my son, the beautiful blessing that he is, was born at the beginning of the 2000, and he was born at the end of 2008. So that was the beginning of the recession in
Yeah.
2009, if you recall. And so here I am, unemployed, single mom, and on every type of welfare that you could possibly imagine. Standing in line at the Department of Social Services, food stamps, WIC, everything possible, energy, all of that, medical. And my lowest point there was actually near homelessness. I had to go and check in with a caseworker who worked at a homeless shelter. And so I would have my baby in tow and,
Oh,
be sitting arm to arm and elbow to elbow with those who were really more down on their luck than I was. And so that was kind of a turning point for me. I was like, I can't stay here. And so, through a series of events, I kind of worked my way back. I put myself through my MBA program full time. I was a full time single mom, full time student, and graduated early with top honors. And
woo.
the rest is history. But there was some ebbing and flowing in my story and my journey for sure. It has not always been rainbows and sunshine by any means.
You had a fight that you had to deal with, huh?
Absolutely.
Uphill battle. So then you came from that. How did you pull yourself out, other than getting the education and doing all those things that you had to do to get where you are today?
Basically, it was self reflection that I had to do a lot of, kind of pulling myself out of the dumps. There was a lot of depression that happened with where I was because, again, I came from a place where, you do the right things and you stay on the right track.
Right.
And so, with all of that, it was taking small jobs here and there that maybe I didn't necessarily want to be doing,
Yeah,
right? But I had to do it in order to survive.
that's what it was.
Um,
It was a job, not a career. But go ahead.
Exactly. That's a great point. Jobs, not necessarily a career, while I was still building my career. And so after I graduated with my MBA, which came later on in life, I didn't go right after undergraduate. I was well into my 30s. I was about 35 when I got my
Uh,
MBA.
I
But
thought,
right after,
okay, I thought you were 35 now. 30.
thank you. No, I am a proud 40 and over,
All
proud member
right.
of the 40 and over club.
God bless.
Thank you. But after that, my career trajectory really took off, So it really was just being in the trenches to get to that MBA and knowing what I wanted, and then being relentless in going after that, and with each position climbing that corporate ladder, which is what I thought I really wanted at the time.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in Beyond the C-Suite? And what is it? What is it all about?
So I am I am a believer that corporate America specifically is mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive for Black women. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And in my wanting to accomplish the right things and take the right path, I thought that that climbing that corporate ladder was going to be it for me, like the pinnacle of my career. I had reached C-suite status. I was COO of a company and, VP at one point of another one and doing all of the things with the fancy titles. But I was miserable. And I realized that there had to be something else beyond this, right? Like I could not have worked this hard to be this miserable
Yeah.
in my career. And so when the pandemic hit, as many of us, we were kind of forced with, well, what's next, And so I started Beyond the C-Suite, really in an effort to help other women who looked like me, who often got their voices silenced, right? They were unable to either reach those levels, or when they did reach them, they weren't treated fairly. And my purpose with Beyond the C-Suite is to really give Black executive women their own personal brand that follows them no matter where they go, right? No matter what position they hold, their personal brand follows them. And then we give them a space to amplify their voice, which often in corporate America is silenced, right? So we're helping them amplify their voice and messaging and ultimately their legacy.
I like that. So, what's next for you? I know you had some challenges putting that all together, but talk about those challenges and then tell me what's next for you.
Absolutely. So, with Beyond the C Suite, Black women specifically are often not able to express their fears and concerns. And so, really, the challenges that I've had with building this business is reaching those women and meeting them where they are because they're often afraid to say, okay, well, I don't want it to be known that I'm looking to write a book, or I don't want it to be known yet that I'm looking to start a speaking career. It needs to stay secretive while I keep my 9 to 5 corporate position, right?
Yeah.
And so the challenge is getting to them and working on this. It's almost sometimes top secret projects, right? And then launching them into this thought leader status. But what is next for me is because I know that these women have some challenges kind of being forward with what they want. I have a podcast that's starting. It's called,
Oh, all right.
yeah. I'm very excited about it. And it's what is called a private podcast, right? So this podcast won't be available to the masses. It is really for us, by us, and
Uh-huh.
it is a subscription-based podcast where each episode we kind of walk the listeners through how to build a personal brand, how to build out your messaging that you
Ah,
want to relay to the world. We have guest experts coming as to, if you want a ghostwriter for your
mhm.
book, how do you accomplish that? If you're looking to speak, what are the things that you need to do to hone your speaking skills? And so this podcast will be for those Black executive women who are like, I need to know, but I need this to be secretive right now. So I
Yes,
need some resources. So it'll really be a resource for them to move into thought leader status and subject matter expert in their industry.
I like it. I like it. I love it. What advice can you give to other Black women, Black and Brown women, who want to move into your executive space or this executive space?
Yeah. So I would say, really and truly, and it sounds so cliche, but stick with your dreams, right? Like you have a purpose for a reason, and God gave you that specific purpose and dream because He knows that you can execute it, right? And the road is not always going to be easy by any means, but you have to really dig deep to say, okay, what is it? What is my purpose, and what is the avenue that I can execute it through? And if
Yeah.
you're looking to move into this executive space, thick skin is something that you're going to have to have. Thick skin and patience, really and truly, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But it can happen, and it can happen if you're strategic about it. And that is probably my best advice. Be strategic.
Deandra, where can we go for more information?
Absolutely. You can find me at beyondthecsuite.co. That is my website. I'm also on LinkedIn at Deandra Coleman. So those are probably the best two places to find me. And if you're looking for info on the podcast, it's podcast.beyondtheCsuite.co.
Watch out. It's a sweet thing.
It is.
Thank you so much, Deandra.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
And thank you for all the work that you're doing. And always come back, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Deandra Coleman, CEO, Beyond the C-Suite. A sweet thing. We'll take a break right here. I've got more open coming up next.